Wealthy and Wise concept is built around, 25 years experience of doing the various, being involved in the various transactional businesses that we're now trying to integrate. So we've been insurance agents as a standalone, we've been mortgage brokers, we've been in the property business, and we've been financial advisors. And it dawned on me, 5 or 6, 7 years ago, that the way the world was moving was to a more convergent advice process. And in particular, our view is that you can't give, advice in the best interests of the client without taking account of tax, their biggest asset, which might be their home, and all the other aspects of their life, where they're heading, what their personal goals are, what their family goals are, what's happening with their work, their, the aspirations that they've got. All of those things need to be part of the advice process first before the individual transactions materialise and start to drop out of the conversation and the dialogue that you're having with the client. I'd like to think that we wanted to make it deliberately different from either a real estate agent office, which I find a bit intimidating. You sort of walk in and you're confronted by a desk. Most accounting offices I've walked in are a schmozzle, absolute schmozzle. They don't even have a front desk. Normally there are folders on the floor. Legal practices can be the same. They hide behind their boardroom, more likely than not. Finance brokers tend to see people, either in meeting rooms or in their home or whatever. So what we wanted to do was to create a retail experience where someone could walk in and get the feel that this was a really relaxed environment. It was a bit like walking into our lounge room, my lounge room or whoever's lounge room, sit down, have a coffee and have a talk about their goals and aspirations in a comfortable way that wasn't like walking into a bank and being interrogated by somebody that's actually really using a straight lines and hard edge approach to the conversation. There are three aspects. I think there are brokers that are very comfortable being a broker, and we knew that. I mean, that's fine. That's terrific. We know our model's not for everybody. And they're not going to change, and really a lot of them you couldn't blame. Why do you want to change something that's successful? I think the second category are people that think they've got a similar model in a sort of referral system. Some of them are tighter than others, but they think, so really what they're looking for when they're talking to us is validation of their own system, and that's fine. And then there's the third category that are genuinely interested in going to, in a sense, the next chapter. So, I don't know, the new world that we see that's coming. And that is, the new world is essentially an integrated approach to the solutions that you find for a client, rather than a more disintegrated approach where each of the players in the puzzle are essentially doing a good job for the client, but they're doing it in general isolation of the overall strategy that the client may need. This is very much a collaborative approach, and the confidentiality of the client's never at stake because we all work together effectively. And if you're starting with a solution, the client knows up front what component parts are part of the solution. And effectively, if you isolate those component parts from the transaction, then the client accepts that. So out of those solutions, the client then realises there will be some moving parts. And that might be insurance, it might be income protection, it could be a loan, it might be a readjustment of a loan, it could be getting their tax done or redone. There are bits and pieces that go into each of these things. It might be a rollover. But the reality is that each of those transactions, and that's really all they are. I know we've built industries out of transactions, but each of those transactions are only facilitating what would otherwise be seen as a solution or a suite of solutions that the client needs. we'd like to grow the business in 5 years to more than 40 franchisees, more than 40 professional services hubs. We think that it'll be moderately slow for the first few because, you know, it always is. But as we get traction and as the brand grows and as people realise that really this is the way forward, this is what's going to happen. I mean, we're first. I'm not sure we'll be last. And so increasingly people are going to have to move towards something like this because the client experience now demands that they don't want to be referred, they don't want to be flicked around, they don't want to meet another person, they don't have to re-explain their circumstances, they don't want to go to another meeting. And in particular, X-Gen and Y-Gen, they're really meeting shy. You know, they really want to meet one person, they want to lay it on the table, they want to say, look, you think you're a smart guy, you give me the solutions, I'll comply, then send it in an email or ring me or let's do a Google Hangout or whatever it is. They don't want to be going to several meetings and going through a whole range of new things. So they want to be communicated with in a different way. The baby boomers, they were quite happy to come to a meeting. You know, it was, you know, half a day, a flexi day. I remember the old days, people would take a flexi day or they'd take a half day or they have a day off or, you know, more than happy to come in and spend a couple of hours and they'd go over it with you. And if you wanted to change their portfolio, everyone was involved. It doesn't happen like that now. People don't want to sit around and discuss the change of the portfolio or whatever. They just want a recommendation. They want to say, you're my advisor. What do you recommend? Okay, sell BHP, buy Rio, no problem. Just put it in an email and I'll hit the DocuSign button and bang, I accept. And, you know, thanks very much. It's really, that's where we're heading. And an integrated approach to advice is the solution for the sort of modern trend that's occurring and emerging with the younger generation. We're actually part of a referral process. I mean, we get referrals from accountants and brokers now. And in fact, I had a property referral from Yellow Brick Road. But it required the client to come to a meeting with me. I had to introduce myself. I had to go and meet the Yellow Brick Road guy. We had to sort of discuss what he was trying to do. No one was taking into account his tax position. You know, the client had his own view. No one was going to disabuse him of that because no one was looking at the overall picture. So there was the sort of Yellow Brick Road doing the loan and the insurance. We were trying to advise on the property stuff, and there just didn't seem to be anyone bringing that transaction together. Even though that transaction may have occurred, it sort of occurred despite the process, not because of it.